The night air bit like glass. Snow fell slow and heavy, catching the yellow glow of the diner sign. Ethan Vale, billionaire and builder of empires, stepped out his black car. Phone pressed his ear, voice clipped with irritation. "Close the deal," he said. "I don't care if it's midnight." His breath misted the air, impatient. He barely noticed the thin glaze of ice beneath his polished shoes, until his foot slid and gravity betrayed him. The sound was small, one sharp crack, a grunt, and the dull slap of impact. For the first time in years, Ethan Vale, untouchable, untouching, was on the ground. Pain seared through his wrist as his phone skittered across the sidewalk. Screen flickering against the snow. He cursed under his breath and tried to stand, pride stinging sharper than the cold. Then he heard a voice. "Whoa there, easy." A woman in a red apron hurried over, boots crunching on the ice. Steam from the diner trailed after her like a ribbon of warmth. "You okay, sir?" Ethan looked up. Her face was flush in the heat inside, hair pulled back under a faded diner cap. He should have brushed her off, but something in her tone, firm, kind, unafraid, stopped him. "I'm fine," he muttered. She offered her hand anyway. "Doesn't look like it." For a heartbeat, the billionaire hesitated, then took it. The ice cracked again, but this time, something else did too. She helped him steady himself, brushing snow from his coat. "Come inside," she said. "You're freezing." "I don't, you do," she interrupted. "Trust me." The diner door swung open, a bell chimed, and warmth spilled out. Inside, the hum of an old jukebox played faintly in the corner. A handful of late-night customers turned their heads as she led him to a booth. The air smelled of coffee, sugar, and butter. He sat, awkwardly brushing ice off his sleeve. She set a steaming mug in front of him. "On the house." Ethan frowned. "I can pay." "Didn't say you couldn't," she replied, smiling faintly. "But sometimes people just need coffee more than pride." He studied her name tag, Clara. Her eyes were green, bright even in the diner's dim light. "You always as full with strangers?" he asked. "Only the ones who fall in front of my diner," she said, tilting her head. He laughed, surprising himself. She moved easily between tables, refilling cups, wiping counters, humming under her breath. There was something grounding about her, someone who'd built a life out of small kindnesses. Ethan looked around. The place was clean but worn, walls lined with old photos and postcards. He wondered how long it had been since someone smiled at him, without expecting something in return. When she passed by again, he said, "You own this place?" "Trying to," Clara said, sliding a plate onto another table. "My dad started it. I'm just trying to keep the lights on." "Tough business," he murmured. "Most things worth saving are." She said it casually, but it landed somewhere deep in him. The words lingered as the snow outside thickened, the world beyond the glass turning white and distant. Ethan sat there long after his coffee cooled, watching her move. The next morning, Clara found a note under the empty cup. It read, "Thanks for the coffee. You were right, I needed it." It wasn't signed. A week later, she saw him again. No suit this time, just a dark coat and gloves dusted with snow. "Back for more coffee?" she teased. "Back for more wisdom," he said. He started showing up once or twice a week, always at the same booth, always quiet. She learned he liked his coffee black, that he tipped too much, and that he sometimes stared out the window as if searching for something he'd lost. He learned that Clara worked double shifts, that her father was ill, and that she hummed when she was tired because it kept her from crying. He didn't tell her who he was. Not yet. One night, she mentioned the diner's lease. "They're raising rent again. I might have to close next month." Ethan said nothing. She smiled like it was fine, but her hands trembled as she wiped the counter. The next day, a letter arrived at her door. An anonymous offered to buy out the building and let her stay rent-free. She froze, heart pounding, eyes scanning the page. She knew who it was. When Ethan walked in that evening, she stood behind the counter, her voice sharp. "You think I can't stand on my own?" He blinked, startled. "Clara, don't," she said. "I helped you because you fell, not because of who you are." The diner fell silent. Ethan looked down, shame flickering across his face. I know, he said softly. That's why I wanted to help you. Because you didn't see me as anyone special. Her anger wavered. You lied. I didn't lie, he said. I just wanted to remember what it felt like to be seen. She turned away, unsure what to feel. Days passed without him coming by. The booth by the window stayed empty, the coffee pot a little less full. Then one night near closing, the bell over the door chimed. Ethan stood there, not in a tailored coat, but in rolled-up sleeves, holding a folder. I'm not by your diner, he said. I want to invest. With you? Partners 50-50. Clara stared, stunned. Why? He smiled faintly. Because some things worth saving shouldn't be saved alone. The months that followed were full of noise and light. New paint, new signs, new laughter. Customers came in waves. Clara worked beside him. Sleeves rolled, coffee on her breath and determination in her eyes. They fought sometimes. He was used to boardrooms. She was used to kitchens. But somewhere between arguments and laughter, something deeper grew. A year later, the diner gleamed under fresh snow. The sign above the door read, Clara's Corner, the letters lit in gold. Inside, Ethan sat in his usual booth, tie loosened, watching her move. She brought him coffee, smiling. Still black, right? Still black, he said. She slid into the booth beside him. The radio hummed softly, the world outside wrapped in winter calm. He reached for her hand, rough from work, warm from life. You changed everything, you know. Clara smiled, eyes bright. Funny, I was about to say the same to you. The snow kept falling, soft and endless, as laughter filled the diner again. The sound of two lives finally thawing the warmth they'd built together.